Welcome into Game Night. I am Derek Forrest. Joining me today is Jake Rom as it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend. So, any plans for the Memorial Day weekend, Jake?
Nope. I am taking a week off from the disc dog world. There's been competitions all weekend. My wife will be at one, and I'll be at home near my phone when I am not working this weekend to see the updates of what's going to go down in Reading, Pennsylvania is where she's going. So I know where she's going, but yeah, I'll be working. Monday I'm off. Maybe I'll go cook a hot dog or a burger or something. I don't have a grill. The stove works.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but I have a quick story. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a big iRacing guy or a big video game guy. I actually shouldn't say iRacing in this example. He plays college football a ton.
Interesting.
But he has spreadsheets of all the plays that he wants to call and like scouting reports of his opponents and like all this stuff. And in the video game, you also have spreadsheets too where you're tracking down some of your opponents as well, though, right? So
yeah, I'm a big numbers guy. So I like in the disc dog community, I like to kind of keep track on how we stack up with everyone in the world, I guess. So yeah, I started doing that because I go on the website a lot and I'm like, man, that's a good time. Like, where do we stack up with all these times or these numbers and scores? So, yeah, I started doing that a couple of days ago. So,
yeah.
Stack up okay.
That's all right. So this weekend, I don't have any plans. I'm just going to be hanging out at the house. There's going to be a lot of video game playing because I'm on the back end of a stretch where I believe I've worked 12 days in a row. So I'm ready for the weekend where I can just kind of chill a little bit for sure. But we're also going to be looking at a list today as well. Wanted to bring this up. Something I did with Tiger Munn earlier this week, and I wanted to have this exercise with you because it's something that I've kind of been tracking or kind of trying to pay attention to all offseason, was the Commanders came into the offseason with guys on their roster who were becoming free agents, and there was 32 of them roughly. Since then, they've signed 4 of them, only 4 off of that 32. But they then also signed 15 other free agents outside of who were in the building.
Okay.
And then they obviously signed 6 draft picks. So there's some ambiguity between the two numbers.
Yeah. Still got a lot of numbers. We still got a few more numbers to fill out this roster.
Yeah, and you figure a lot of it's going to come from the undrafted free agents that they sign, and then anybody else they pick up and sign on a practice squad, etc. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to go back through the list of some of the guys that are no longer on the roster.
Okay.
And you tell me whether or not you felt like they should have signed them if you were in the front office.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start with players who have signed at for other teams. So Tyler Biotish now with the Chargers, so the Commanders have signed him.
I think they should have brought Biotish back. It might have been a number. It might have been they might have had to give him a little more money than maybe they wanted to, but he was a solid part of that offensive line. Didn't miss a lot of games. A veteran presence. I know you have Allegretti that seems to be making that transition, that move over to center possibly. They bring in a guy, out of the draft and Gulpin as well out of Michigan State. So they're trying to figure out the depth there. But I just think looking at it right now, I know Allegretti's played basically every position. I mean, you might as well try him at tight end at this point. He's played everything on the offensive line. I just feel like Biotish would have been a nice piece to bring back.
The running back room, pretty jammed packed. So Chris Rodriguez ends up going to Jacksonville. Should they have re-signed Chris Rodriguez?
I feel like he was solid, but I feel like what they brought in replacement draft as well as free agency, I think they made out better. So no, that one I wouldn't have re-signed.
By the way, I totally went to interviewer mode. Tyler Biotish, I should probably give my response as well. Tyler Biotish, they should have definitely brought back. I know that they're big on Nick Allegretti, but what happens if he fails? Mm-hmm. There's nobody behind him.
Yeah.
And now that you see what he was worth in the market, he signed 3 years, $30 million. So his market value says
that's probably why they didn't sign him.
It's probably.
Yeah.
All right. As for Chris Rodriguez, do I think they should have brought him back? Knowing what I know now about what they've brought in, I think they're okay without Chris Rodriguez. But if they didn't make the moves in the running back room that they made, Rashad White specifically, obviously, and obviously Katron Allen, I would have kept Chris Rodriguez because I do think with this team, they're going to continue to do running back by committee. I do not expect
that's just how
there
looks.
To be a number one guy.
I mean, that's just how it looks like they're setting themselves up. I agree with that.
Yeah. Jake Martin signed for the Titans. Should they have brought him back?
If everyone's healthy, no. And then what they've done in free agency with some of the heavy hitters that they brought in on the pass rush, no. Because Jake Martin, got his flowers and got his opportunity when the Dorrance Armstrongs and the Dietrich Wises and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because there were so many injuries on the front line. Yeah. That's how he got his opportunity. So I would say no. I mean, did he earn a possibility? Yes, because I think he played fairly well for them. But no, they got way better in free agency.
Yeah, and the draft as well, bringing in Sonny Styles as well. So, all right, cornerback Jonathan Jones signed with the Eagles, 1 year, $2 million.
This one you could have. I think he would have been a nice rotational piece to bring in a starter. I think he wouldn't have been a starter on this team. I think you need to start figuring out what you have with the Trey Amisses and the Mikey Sainristills and whatnot. So, but he would have been a nice rotational piece.
I would say no to him, but I would say yes to the next guy, Noah Igbenogany. Ends up with Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree with you. He set me up there a little bit. Yeah, I think Noah definitely. He just always came in those nickel dime packages and played a good slot corner position. And I feel like last year there was a lot of talks of him possibly being traded during the season to some teams. So I feel like that one, if I had to choose between the two, yeah, him.
All right, and then our final guy who signed elsewhere, quarterback Josh Johnson. Obviously, with everything they've done with the quarterback position, I mean, you don't really need him.
I don't think you needed him. You get Mariota back. You got Jaden. You're hoping he's healthy. You're hoping you're not even talking about Mariota this year.
Yeah, and Mariota was one of the 4 guys that they signed back that was on last year's roster. All right, now we're looking at guys who have not signed anywhere yet. There's a longer list here.
Okay.
I know the first one's a no. It's a no for everybody, but Marshawn Lattimore is still sitting atop the list.
Nope. We're good.
We don't even need an explanation on that one. All right, wide receiver Deebo Samuel still available. Should they bring him back?
You can get him for a cheap price. I mean, why not? I mean, I think they could have seen something really good if we see that group, but I think he'd be a nice piece to the receiver room for sure if they don't go out and get somebody.
I agree. I was always a big proponent of Deebo coming back, especially considering they haven't really solidified who's opposite Terry. And I know that's not, you don't have to because Jaden can spread the ball out, etc. But it'd be nice to have somebody reliable over there. It's interesting as I'm looking more at the numbers. I'm looking at Spot Rack or Spotrack, however I go with Spotrack. Some people go with Spot Rack.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore made $19.5 million. They have his projected market value for $8 million this year. Deebo Samuel, $17.5 million last year. They have his market value at $15 million, which is probably one of the reasons why.
If you can get him for 10,
yeah,
no brainer.
All right, Bobby Wagner. We're all assuming he's not coming back. His numbers
assuming, I still think he should come back. I still think he should come back and take another number. Can they give him the number letter X? Just give him the letter X or what was it from the Longest Yard? Where the guy had numbers X or 0 or whatever it was, that would be him.
Yep. All right, we're running out of time here, so I'm going to do speed round, and you just stop me when you hear a name of someone they should re-sign.
Okay.
Zach Ertz, Von Miller, Austin Eckler, Noah Brown, Jeremy McNichols, George Fant, Eddie Goldman, Preston Smith, Sheldon Day, Chris Moore, Jalen Holmes, Tyree Jackson, Chase Edmonds, Jeff Driscoll. That's what you were waiting for.
They can all go.
They're going to all go.
They can all go.
All of them. Not even Von Miller.
No. They brought in Adafe Owe. They brought in Chiason Cleason, however you say his last name. I think they're good with the pass.
Calavon.
Yeah. Chase. That's his first name. Sorry. I think they're good there. I don't think they need Vaughn.
All right. Earlier today, I caught up with Denton Day and had a similar conversation with him as we talk Commanders free agency.
Anyone that's younger and more athletic at a position is a big win, right? So, Defe Owe, I think, is a huge win. I think adding to the linebacking core with Leo Chanel is a big win. I really like Nick Cross on the back end of the defense. I like guys that can fly around the football. I mean, Owe is going to be the one that I think is the biggest impact, and hoping that he's the biggest impact, because what were they awful at last year? They were awful at getting after the quarterback. One of my mantras in the NFL is that there's no such thing as too many pass rushers. But in 2025, we did see that there is a such thing as no pass rushers. So getting him, I think, is the biggest splash of free agency for sure.
All right, so here's the game I want to play. And this is basically yes or no answers from you. But you
Okay.
can give a one-liner if you want to as well.
Okay.
We're going to start with the guys that they gave up in free agency, and you tell me whether or not they should have kept him.
Yeah.
Tyler Biadasz.
I'm going to say no, they should not have kept him. I think they moved on from him for a reason, but I would say it does alarm me that they did not massively address the center position in the offseason.
Chris Rodriguez.
Love C-Rod, but that's fine.
Jake Martin.
That's fine.
Jonathan Jones.
I actually would have liked to keep Jonathan Jones.
And Noah Igbenogany.
Would have liked to keep him too. The weakest position in terms of depth is cornerback. So letting two guys go that I thought could play. I mean, I would have kept Jonathan Jones over Noah I, but I would have liked to keep either one of those two guys.
And then finally, Josh Johnson.
Look, man, Josh Johnson is a legend, but I don't know how much football he has left to play.
Okay, so I'm going to take it one step further. These are the guys that they didn't bring back, or at least currently didn't bring back, and are now free agents. We can move pretty quickly. Marshawn Lattimore, I know that's a no for you.
No.
What about Deebo Samuel?
I'd be interested if the Diggs and Ayuk thing do not work out, but right now I'm fine.
Looks like Bobby Wagner's not coming back, but would you have kept him?
I would not have kept him.
Zach Ertz.
I would be interested in Zach Ertz, but not hellbent on Zach Ertz.
Von Miller.
He's the one that I would like to keep. You have so many young guys on that defensive line. He showed he could still play, at least in spots, so I think he would be nice to keep.
All right, a couple of other names, and then the other ones I'm going to assume are no's. Austin Eckler.
No. I like Austin Eckler, but no.
All right, Noah Brown.
No.
And Jeremy McNichols.
Like McNichols, but I like what they're doing at running back, and I love Katron Allen. He's been one of my favorite running backs in college football for a few years, so I'm okay with him.
All right, looks like we were kind of on the same page with Denton there.
A little bit.
Yeah,
You did pretty good.
All right, coming up on the show, we're talking soccer. Washington Spirit, they've got a big match coming up this weekend in the CONCACAF Finals. We're going to talk about that coming up next on Game Night. Welcome back into Game Night. Dirk Forrest alongside Jake Rom. We're talking soccer in the second block. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but we want to go a little bit more in depth because what the Washington Spirit is doing right now has been pretty incredible considering where they started. And not that they started out the season in a bad light anyways, but they just kind of needed to get some chemistry together, get the momentum together. But they seem to be finding it right now. They're in the CONCACAF Champions Cup tournament. They're now in the finals. They're going to take on Club America Saturday in Mexico. And it looks like they're putting themselves in good shape to get to other tournaments as well. Before you even get into it, what I like about what they're doing so far is that I started thinking about this too, is it's almost like, and I don't know why I'm blanking on her name right now, that they don't miss Croy Bethune.
No.
And we were wondering about that in the offseason, why they would do it, etc. She's super talented. We saw what she was able to do her rookie year before she got hurt, all of that stuff. And they're also doing it without Trinity Rodman having to be super productive. She's still being productive, but she doesn't have to carry the ball club. You know what I mean?
That's valid.
And they're 100% playing team ball is what I'm seeing out of them, and it's paying off for sure.
Well, that's where I was going to go first. Like, who do you stop on the offensive side of the ball? Like last year, we like you mentioned, Croy Bethune was one of those people that was a playmaker, facilitator, whatever. Trinity Rodman is that, and she might not be contributing on the score sheet every night, but she's grabbing the attention that is needed for these other people like a Claudia Martinez, Sofia Cantore, Gift Monday, Rosamund Kwasi, all those other players on the attack that can get space and create chances because they are talented enough. They are a team with an embarrassment of riches. I've been saying this for like 3 years now. It feels like an embarrassment of riches. People just leaving for international break every other week. It feels like that's how much talent they have on this team, and it's showing. And this is, if they can go out there and beat a team like Club America, a team that just beat Gotham FC 4-1 in the semifinals a couple days ago, and they can bring home a trophy to this area, it just means so much to this team because they've been knocking on the door trying to get those trophies for the past couple of seasons in the NWSL. They've come up short. They've obviously got not the Community Shield, but the Challenge Cup against Orlando last year, like I talked about on yesterday's show. But if they can win something like this, CONCACAF Champions Cup, which I believe if they win also punches their ticket to the Club World Cup, which then we can finally get their brand on a more worldly scale, which I feel like they've tried to do through all the international people. This is a big step in the right direction, and it's another big step that the owner, Michelle Kang, obviously wants to take.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Club World Cup on the women's side of things. It'll be the first time that they are doing this. And we obviously saw it on the men's side of things. What was it, last summer? Was it last summer?
Yeah,
2 summers ago?
It was last summer. It was the first time they did like a World Cup format to it where the whole world was included.
Yeah. So it'll be nice, as you mentioned, to get them on the world stage. I think with Michelle Kang, because she owns a team across the pond already, they probably have a little bit of that. And Trinity Rodman obviously helps, but it's certainly good to see the brand continuing to build. And hopefully, again, we keep talking about this, but it's been a long time, or it seems like it's been a long time since 2019. They need to bring home that second NWSL
I agree.
Title for sure. All right, coming up on the show, we've got some track and field to talk about. Jake is going to tell us about a track and field star throwing the shot put. That's coming up next on Game Night. Welcome back into Game Night. Derek Forrest alongside Jake Rom. We're talking a little track and field, which is right up your alley, former track and field star, through the javelin for a little bit. But you've got a story about a local guy who's finding success.
Yeah, Barrett Pullen. He's a senior for Woodson High School in Fairfax County. Barrett is one of the types of athletes that when it comes to track and field, you might not know about it. You could be a sprinter growing up, but it's not really an event or a sport that you kind of do growing up like football, baseball, and soccer and whatnot. But Barrett took a shot at doing this as a 9th grader, and it turned out that he became pretty good at throwing the shot put. Here's the story.
Something that I thought about doing. A lot of my friends had done track for a long time. Turned out to be pretty fun, and just stuck with it and got pretty good at it.
As a freshman in high school, Barrett Pullen took a chance at track and field, throwing the shot put.
It was definitely a learning curve. My first meet, my best was 34 feet.
And now, 3 years later, the Woodson senior has become one of the top throwers in the state of Virginia.
He didn't really know what was going on to now. He's just the minute details. He's like, boom, boom, boom. That's what I need to, if I fix this, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
He came back as a sophomore, improved 10 feet, and then he came back as a junior and improved another 10 feet, and then he came back and improved about 5 feet as a senior. So, pretty good story, I have to say. Good progression.
A near 30-foot difference from freshman year to senior year in a sport that he never would have imagined doing growing up as a kid.
I don't think I really ever thought I'd be this good at it. I don't think I really understood the grasp of it fully when I started, but it's definitely been an awesome journey to be a part of.
From freshman tryout to a nationally ranked shot putter, Barrett Pullen is a prime example of it never being too late to try something new.
You can always pick up something new and be pretty good at it. I mean, it's just you got to put in the time. If you really want to be good at it, put in that extra time and, just remember, have fun. But it's never really too late to start anything. You can always find something, you find interest in it, go after it.
Yeah, so Barrett, when I did track and field and got into it as a 9th grader throwing javelin, I had a neighbor that threw javelin. I got inspired by it when I was a 7th grader, so I was able to kind of start that a little bit earlier. But Barrett just picked up a shot put as a 9th grader and turned out to be pretty good. 34 feet as a freshman. I think it's 61 and some decimals now, and is now, a nationally ranked shot putter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. You never know. If you try different things, you just never know what you're going to be good at. For me, I grew up a baseball player my entire life. I wasn't going to play any other sport because I didn't want to hurt myself in any other sport. I got to high school. I tried football. I tried hockey. I tried soccer. I ended up playing all 4 of them for a long time. So you never know.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you got to play everything. You got to try it. Yeah. Pick up, do whatever. It's fun.
Yep. All right, coming up on the show, we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders' new stadium and what amenities we'd like to see in that stadium coming up next on Game Night. Welcome into Game Night. Derek Forrest alongside Jake Rom. Final block of the show, we're talking about the Washington Commanders' new stadium, which should be ready, or at least they're saying it's going to be ready by 2030. We obviously know they won't have that Super Bowl as that was announced. I'd say by like 2032, 2033, somewhere in there. But what we wanted to talk about is what kind of amenities would we like to see at the stadium? And well, as a fan and as someone who covers the team.
I'd say as a fan, you see it in a lot of stadiums, but like I think the Baltimore Ravens M&T Bank, like in their one end zone, they have like what looks like a bar kind of there, and like seats like more loungier types of seats, or seats that are like with the like, so you can kind of get a drink, relax, whatever. You're not actually in a seat. I know, I almost called it FedEx. Geez. Northwest Stadium doesn't really have that when you look at kind of that level, like on the ground right there by the end zone. Like, I think they need to have a couple of those types of things near it, or something interactive like that. As a media member, I'm going to let you go first. I need to think of the media member thing.
All right, I'll let you think about that a little bit longer. As a fan, I don't know if they announced this yet. I know there's a lot of columns around the stadium because they want that vibe of being downtown DC, et cetera, and it goes with all the monuments. But I wonder if there'll be a section or a couple of sections that will be open-ended or can be open-ended that will open up. I experienced that at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, where they can open up the doors and let all the air in, like all that stuff. I thought that was super cool. I think that would be pretty cool. As a media member, I was trying to think about that one too. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. That's a little different. Maybe. Here's one. You'll actually agree with this one. A media-only elevator from the press box to get down to the field.
Okay. Yep. that for sure. We need just media access only, where we're not getting in there with a bunch of drunk fans. Yeah, that'd be nice. I was thinking more of a location of the press box. I know they're not going to do it. The Ravens used to do it, but now they moved us towards the end zone a little bit. 50-yard line, like right there in the middle, would be kind of nice.
Yeah. That would be good. The elevator, though, I'm rooting for. We got to get that on the list.
We need that.
All right, that's going to do it for another edition of Game Night. For Jake Rom, I'm Derek Forrest. Have a good night.